Well, hello there, gamers. This is going to be another exciting matchup in the group stage of the ALTTPR main tournament 2022. My name's Dante, and I'm joined in the booth tonight by Clear Mouse. Clear Mouse, how you doing?
Yo, Dante, I'm doing great. Happy Friday, happy weekend. This is like what a way to start off the weekend. We get to see Kaede versus Matt, two pretty dang good runners. Matt, I think I want to say he qualified like the number 8 spot, I think, in qualifiers. So something definitely top 10. So quite, and tearing up the groups like as is. I believe he is currently 3-0. Certainly looking for a 4-0 to kind of, I would say, almost like clinch or sweep, this group so far. Kaede has already played 4 matches. He is 1-3. So really looking for another win here against Matt in order to kind of stay alive in this group.
Yeah, definitely going to need to pull something out. And speaking of pulling something out, we got a really nice sword to start with.
Oh my gosh.
We are playing inverted keys today. We got a starting flute, but we don't have a starting sword. But you know what? The game said, we'll give you one anyway. Now, if the next chest could be boots, I'll just be even happier.
Oh, dude, and, boots certainly have been, quite elusive, for this entire tournament. I was going to say, so Kaede and Matt, when they actually rolled this, I believe they actually had equal chances, likely, for Ambrosia and inverted keys. And of course, I think both of them were, or at least Matt was probably hoping for Ambrosia just because we get that starting sword. You know what? He at least gets part of his wishes fulfilled because, you just said, we've got very first check. Is basically like a permanent weapon to our names.
Oh yeah, and we got a little bit of divergence early on. Matt gonna go ahead and get some Meyer area handled. I think he. It looks like on his tracker it's Bombos. Speaking of trackers, Relkin is doing the tracking for us today. We want to say thank you to Relkin for helping me once this race goes on long as we get into Hype Cave.
Helping us.
Yeah, I'm going to be relying really hard on you guys just because this, oh, never mind. There's a Moon Pearl at the minute 25
There is a
mark.
Moon Pearl. I want to say, though, that Matt is really letting us down with chest turns, though. You see all those attempts. I mean, I think he needs to start brushing his chest turns up here. But yeah, Relkin's definitely got a lot of stuff to do. Relkin is actually one of our best trackers ever, so thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. But yeah, speaking of though, Kaede certainly. So he, I'm not sure this is more of a traditional inverted start because typically with starting flute, it seems like what Matt is doing among other people seems to be very common to go into like Myers to make 2 quick checks. Kaede basically is using that flute though in Dark World just to get over to Skull Woods, Village of Outcasts, just a little bit faster. He did get 10 bombs early, so he doesn't have to necessarily farm in this case for resources.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I really do like the Skull Woods play this early, especially in keys. But just getting the resources, magic, and bombs, but like you were saying, getting a 10-pack early, and, Matt getting that 3-pack, I believe, over in the Meyer shed, as well as the money, I mean, it all works out.
Yeah, Matt also ended up finding the Cane of Burna off of Stumpy, so invincibility item certainly is going to be very nice. Now, of course, one of the features of regular inverted, not necessarily inverted keys, is that sometimes that Cane of Burna is actually going to be your weapon against blind. Thankfully, we do have a sword, and we have this being a key sanity, we don't have the big key, the thief's not quite yet, but the invincibility item is going to be a little nicer, especially since we are in the Dark World. 3 minutes in, Dark World enemies aren't any softer, or they won't go easier on you, right? Just because you started out here.
Yeah, this is like the one mode where like you'd want overworld Randomizer maybe just so like they don't hit so hard when you first start out.
Mm-hmm.
But you still roll the dice with that. But I digress. We're in Hype Cave on Kaede's side and gonna get their Moon Pearl. And we're finally gonna get some Village of Outcasts checks over on Matt's side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like though, certainly with no boost, we can't really, dash, along. But I guess I'm gonna see if he's gonna dive into Thieves Town, check out the first front 4 before heading over to C-Shape House.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough call if you want to do C-shaped first. Like, there's very little it's gonna give you, especially since you're gonna probably do the first 4 and leave out of here. There's a hook shot. on
Yeah,
Matt's side.
that's a pretty good find. But certainly, part 4 means that Kaede is very, very likely to be able to basically kind of follow Matt's footsteps here and get the hookshot very early.
Yeah, it's gonna. I don't know. The start in this always just feels super awkward, and you kind of just have to hope it all kind of works out.
Oh yeah, of course, right. So I mean, this is the beauty of inverted, right? You get to basically explore without, I would say, too much direction of the dark world, and everywhere you look is danger. Although, so I guess we're actually seeing a little bit of difference here too, Dante. With between Kaede and Matt. Not only, of course, Matt having that Master Sword from Thieves Town, but with that 300 that you picked up in Myershed early, we're not graced, to see Matt, play the arrow game to try and get a little bit more cash to his name.
Oh yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about Inverted is actually getting to play the arrow game and it being useful. But speaking of useful, you talked about that Master Sword. Also got a blue mail, so we're kind of low on hearts here. We talked about stuff in Dark World hitting pretty tough. But with blue mail, things are a little more manageable.
Yeah, didn't even actually notice the blue mail that I didn't get picking up, but good thing Matt's blue bright eyes, as well as Rocket putting that on our tracker is very helpful. Kaede is just following this case, with enough money in hand to do dig game. He's gonna go dig up his 10 arrows. Don't know if he'll actually pick it up. Looks like he will. Early resources, you never really know when you're gonna encounter a bow, right?
Yeah, you want one maybe as soon as possible, but not always the case. We'll see where Kaede's headed. This might be... No, this is back to the village play. So we are now gonna knock these checks out.
Yeah. So okay. So right now, so Kaede and Matt are kind of retracing each other's steps. So after this though, we haven't really gotten so the hookshot's certainly very nice. Dante, where would you like to go if you were in these runners' shoes? Kind of after these initial Skullwoods Village of Outcasts checks.
I mean, I'm kind of hoping a glove shows up. So whenever we flute to 1, we can just knock out the entirety of the mountain with Hookshot Cave. We don't really have a way to do any of the 4 checks in Hookshot Cave at the moment, but Super Bunny being it's kind of far out for just 2 checks, plus the old man situation. So we'll see what they decide to do here shortly, or what items show up.
Yeah. And of course, one of the consequences of, having starting flute is that, well, you can basically land on the mountain immediately, right? The starting flute is activated. And, kind of as a consequence, the old man is slightly, he might be spending more time in that cave than maybe we originally anticipated.
It's possible. Very, very possible.
I guess, not having boost necessarily won't affect too much of the rescue time for the old man, but, especially in inverted, one difference between inverted and, in this case, like not inverted, is that the time it takes to rescue the old man is basically double, because not only do you have to kind of get him across through the cave, you gotta, like, walk him all the way up the mountain, and then you gotta drop him all the way back down on the bottom of the mountain. So it's like, you're really, it's like a preview of how many times you're gonna climb Death Mountain yourself.
It's very possible. Maybe we get blessed and we don't have to worry about that today. There's always that possibility, but Matt taking the long way, looking at all the beautiful holes in Skullwoods, and gonna be getting their pinball room chest, and we're pretty much even right now, except for the play over to Meyer. That's kind of literally the only difference at this point.
Yeah. At least, in this mode, if we don't have early boosts, we at least have a flute to at least get us around somewhat in the Dark World. Now, of course, once we do get Light World access, the flute's definitely not going to be very useful because it won't work in the Light World, but at least for the time being, we get a little bit of early mobility.
Yeah, for sure. And Matt opting to head up the mountain, and Kaede, as we were discussing the entire difference there, checking out the Meyer area, gonna get their Myershed done, and we do confirm that is the Bombos medallion to get into Misery Mire.
Yep. All right, Matt. Skillfully dodging. The two people who want to be his friends, but we don't do large talk. In this game, we're pretty socially isolated at this point.
Yeah, we want to avoid as many text boxes as we possibly can. Speaking of text boxes, we are in Aga Tower over on Matt's side. We're going to get that first chest out of the way.
Yes.
We watched the little guards do their dance, touch feet, and then Matt got the double spin, which is a nice handy way of using that master sword. But heart container for our troubles. I guess now we'll long walk out of here.
Yeah, and so that heart container, coupled with blue mill, is certainly gonna make both Matt and Kaede's life a little bit nicer, easier when we have to go across those Lionels, right? Lionels can pack quite the punch. We don't really want to keep dying out here.
We definitely don't. And I already forgot we got the moon pearl because you never get the moon pearl this fast
right.
and inverted. So
Are
this
those
what I think they are?
They look like boots. All right, let's see if we can get something better on Kaede's side. They are super boots. Oh my gosh, this is like 10 minutes in. We're basically on casual boots mode. Oh, this is so
all right.
nice.
That's that might downgrade this to a 3 beer mode instead of 4. We'll see.
Oh man, this is gonna make certainly Matt very happy. I'm going to also assume that Kaede is just as big a fan of boots, in which case both of these guys are gonna be going super fast.
Doing a good job with that bomb jump there, and
I see. Okay, so
setting up a different version, but not quite on the right pixel, unfortunately. So gonna have to dash out of here.
Yeah, I was actually wondering what Kaede was ended up doing because it actually looked like because the boots were just like right there, right? But it looks like that was basically his way of trying to do a different setup. All right, so now not only do we have we're beyond even fighter sword. We have master sword at this point with the boots, with the hook shot. Dude, did you see that Waffle House on Matt's side?
We got a Waffle House over on Matt's side.
That was some slick movement. I mean, no, he didn't stop for anything. Very, very nicely done. Meanwhile, though, Kaede, though, he looks like he is at least, giving his own time investment into rescuing the old man. So hopefully he doesn't die.
I think Kaede. Oh no! So I think Kaede went into the light world. So basically, that's the internal Death Mountain Descent cave, and I was trying to get the old man, but was in the wrong cave because of the way inverted works.
Oh no! Oh, I see. I see what. Oh man, that is an unfortunate inverted gotcha, I guess. Something I guess just to keep in mind. Looks like though, he's in the right place. Matt though, he's finding his own treasure trove up here in Paradox Cave.
Oh yeah, getting a glove as well as a bottle. That's always handy. Speaking of glove, that's gonna get us into that hookshot cave area. So we have a hook. It's definitely something to think about now.
Yeah, and of course, we're so certainly very fixated on boots earlier, but these runners can dash and rest comfortably with those. And next, of course, nice to have / important item, especially in inverted, is going to be that mirror. Matt is here in Light World, and we would really like to be able to combine both Light World and Dark World checks together, and we really going to need that mirror. It's going to save us a lot of extra mountain climbs for sure.
It definitely can. Just 5 rupees over in Spiral Cave. We have not rescued the old man yet, so this is going to be a new check. Luckily, our friends are minding their business as Kaede heads to the portal to get the old man back into Light World. I like to think the old man has his own moon pearl since he, retains his normal form as he's in Dark World.
That's actually a very good point. Does really make you wonder in this case, like what's so special about this old man? It's just a shield, from rescuing the old man. So actually, it looks like by the time Kaede actually gets to Paradox Cave, he's gonna actually be up to Fire Shield. Certainly could be very useful if we have to go find Blind among other things.
Oh yeah. So Matt getting making use of Berna, getting through the Lionels, getting our information over on Turtle Rock that it is Ether.
All right, so yeah, so good to know. In this case, both our entry medallions. Now, of course, no maps, you know, because of key sanity, the maps are all shuffled into the pool. It means that we can't necessarily do a map check right now unless we actually have a map. We're getting pod keys out the wazoo though. One in Hookshot Cave, one in Paradox Cave, another one in Hookshot Cave. I think we found one in Hype Cave as well. Are you thinking pod at this point, Dancy?
I don't think pod has anything.
Okay, it never has
today.
anything. All right.
I'm highly suspicious of pod. You know, the game's throwing those keys for a reason, most likely. We're still very early on. We've got a moon pearl like we were talking about, so we're in light world at the moment. There's a lamp on Matt's side and Super Bunny. One thing to keep in mind is that we don't really have. Well, I guess we do have light world access. Should two castle tower keys show up? I always forget the castle tower keys are a variable that are just kind of out in the wild with inverted keys.
Yeah. And of course, you know, keep in mind that this is, you know, inverted key sanity. This is actually full everything key. You know, we do have to find castle tower keys. We have to find the GT big key. Unlike another like tournament keys, you know, another mode in this tournament where the castle tower and the GT big key are fixed. Oh, of course. All right. So yeah, Matt picking up the lamp, you know, certainly very reasonable for him to actually do the old man because now it is actually in logic. You know, maybe I'm sure the lamp will turn out somewhere, but maybe, you know, Matt was thinking like, well, if I don't find the lamp right now, maybe I could put it off a little bit. But it looks like we're going to get the exact same time investment on both sides.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, so Kaede taking a save and quit. We're going to start on the mountain yet again. And probably going to be coming over to these Dark World checks that Matt has done. Going to be, unfortunately, in for a rude awakening. Cannot hookshot across here. That would be really nice. I got to say, if we could do that, I'd be very happy. But we cannot.
Yeah, this is another one of those, you know, kind of consequences of inverted. It's that, you know, you are just so used to doing things, you know, the non-inverted way, right? Once you get up to Death Mountain, basically, you know, once you have the hookshot, you just beeline it right? And you know, in Death Mountain or in inverted in the Dark World, you really, you know, can't do that.
All right, so this is going to be the Aga Tower first chess play for Kaede. Going to be basically the same amount of time commitment here, so giving this time back to Matt.
Yeah. All right. So I think this is. Are we actually counting trips up on the mountain for both of these runners?
I haven't been counting. I know we're up to like probably 2 or 3 based on how things have panned out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're over in pod area on Matt's side. We got a lot of keys. We got some dollars. There's a monkey that takes those dollars. We might actually go in here and find some things. We might find more pod keys too. You never know.
That is certainly true. In Key Sanity especially, it always seems like there is at least one pod key in pod. We have found 4 of them, so I would not necessarily be as surprised, you know, to see no keys because we have so many already. However, you know, that doesn't preclude the game, you know, from giving us more pod keys here. Now, fortunately, still no mirror in sight, you know, and also as a consequence, you know, so Kaede is also going to pick up Breadmail shortly, along with his 2 pod keys in Hookshot Cave. But Death Warping is unfortunately going to take a little bit longer, you know, for both Matt and Kaede.
Well, there's a Castle Tower key.
There's one. Are you going back up the mountain now? I guess maybe are you hoping in this case to find both of them here, so then you can just do Aga like immediately? Or do you
Honestly,
go back up the mountain for just that one item?
It's not that you don't leave now, obviously, with 4, but
right.
I would say that if you get both of them here, it's pretty clear what the game wants. So it's not the worst thing to find both of them. We'll kind of see. I was about to say, if that's a Castle Tower key, I retire, but it's a Misery Mire key, so just one of the things to have a nice convenience. I guess Matt is going to go ahead and give us the check of the 6 key-locked chest, the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, and then presumably, I guess I'm not really... So neither runner has a bow. Both runners did pick up a blue potion, though, from Paradox Cave. You know, that hammer, the whole being in the vanilla big key chest is a pretty dang good find. Holy cow. I was gonna say, you know, so both runners have a potion. They could potion camera unlock the bow lock side of pod, but oh man, like that hammer just magically made like the rest of pod routing a whole heck of a lot nicer on that side. Just because we don't have the death warp, you know, out here, we just have to just hammer straight down.
Now, we have 2 bottles. I think one of them, yeah, we did have a goo here, so Matt going to be able to do the potion camera unlock glitch, and that's going to be nice. Kaede going to go ahead and give us the pyramid first, which is going to be a new check. That is another key to Mire.
Interesting.
So Mire's going to be very convenient when we decide to head there, if we decide to head there.
Yeah, so there's certainly a little bit more interest in terms of, you know, early small Mire keys. Maybe if we end up finding like the 3rd one, you know, we'll have some clue, you know, as to what we can do like on the firelock side, right? Like, because like those chests are not in logic until we find all of them. But of course, it's not gonna stop people from going, you know, getting there. But that's certainly something to keep in mind if you're trying to keep track of like key logic.
Yeah, for sure. We're also getting the catfish check. This is something, you know, maybe we get an outlying item here or a key, and this may be something with stuff opening up Matt puts off for a while, so this could be good for Kaede.
Yeah, this is kind of out of the way too. Oh, that
and
is,
speaking of,
yeah, I think that's actually a pretty nice pickup. You know, so there are going to be 4 swords in the pool. We are going to be able to, you know, keep all 4 of them if we find it, but you know, early tempered sword, especially if we don't know where that 4th sword is, you know, early tempered sword versus, you know, for Kaede versus Matt, this is gonna be a really nice damage boost. Well, okay, so all right, so Matt, yeah, finding the 3rd small key to Mire, so that does put basically everything, you know, in Mire logic. But not only that, Dante, yeah, you're oohing at this 2nd castle tower key. I think we might have some direction as to where to go after this.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I guess Matt wants to preserve a key. I was thinking he might actually go to Harmless Hellway with that final key, but probably gonna, you know, just want to preserve it just in case. But yeah, definitely something to keep in mind here that we may, logically, is probably the Aga play at this point to get us to Light World, but Matt getting that hammer how he did, he could circumvent that. Basically, and technically it's like a sequence break, if you will. It's just not one of those ones that's like as glaring as, say, like fake flippers.
Alright, so Matt, 2nd attempt on the Hammer Yum, you know, has successfully made it over here to the Dark Maze, and, you know, we kind of actually saw a little bit of a consequence, you know, as might be one of the reasons why, you know, some runners want to actually take the south door, and then, you know, try the Hammer Yum, because if you fail it the first time, you unfortunately have to go reset the entire super tile, and, you know, that's unfortunately kind of like what Matt had to do, so we ended up taking a little bit more time.
Alright, so Matt not using that key, gonna hang on to it just in case. Probably not wanting to test his luck since getting the hammer. Now, Kaede gonna get the hammer as well.
Yeah, he also is making the exact same decision. Very, very interesting.
So, I mean, this is solid for both of these guys. And looks like we're headed to Light World. There's the game's wide open. Where do you go, Clearmouth?
That's a great question. I would like to go to where the mirror is.
I would just
I don't know where that is.
Go where the items are.
Yeah,
and at this point, I think that's kind of what Matt's goal here is with going to Kakariko. This is a pretty dense check overall, all things considered.
Yeah, a little bit of interesting, like in that Matt looks like he is gonna kind of like beeline directly to the village. I you know, think it's just because where the Light World portal is in order to try to get up there. You know, some people I guess maybe want to check out Lost Woods first before heading down, but maybe Matt, you know, is interested in basically exploring out the village before kind of heading back over to like North Light World. Half magic though on the walls, pretty nice.
I gotta point out on Kaede's side that we had the bee knock the mimic off of the screen.
Nice.
For the death, so to speak, to open up the door. It was very nice. I did miss that Skull Woods key on Matt's side when he did the right side, so that kind of lets us know, you know, even if we get a fire rod, that could be, you know, whatever that is logically is going to be maybe behind a bow, referring to like the moth fight.
Yeah, certainly something good, you know, to keep in mind. Ooh, we do have an early book, and it's speaking of Dante, Skull with small key here in Blindside as well. Now, of course, you know, we still don't.
I was gonna say the book is always something nice to have in inverted. That is literally the only way we're getting in to desert. So there's no other option. Nice to have that. You know, we're 20 minutes in, and we already have most of the like big outlying items.
Yeah, and especially for the book, right? You certainly want to find it on the earlier side, if you can, just because you haven't really been, everywhere, in Light World. So then when you eventually do make it, over to like either tablet or Bomblo's tablet or like the desert area, you basically get like just like check those along the way. You don't have to necessarily like go back for them.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Matt's trying to redeem himself with all these chest turns than the ones that he was trying to do in Hype Cave.
He did not save the chicken. He needs that's a 10-minute time penalty from my vantage point. Not officially, completely unofficial. Just there's our fire rod on Sick Kid.
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of stuff here in Kakarot. You mentioned earlier, we're not even 25 minutes in, we're getting, a whole heck of a lot of major progression items. I mean, I guess we still don't know what our crystals and pendants are, but we have a lot of access right now to be able to, take a peek inside, do, a couple of dungeons, already.
All right, peeking at library on Matt's side, just $5. Not going to get that. But we do have a race game to take a peek at. And it's a big key, so we're going back for that. We're going to need a lot of those today, and we have none as it stands.
Yeah, I mean, we have some really nice things. We do have the fire rod, we have, the glove, we have a hammer, we've got at least tempered sword on Kaede's side. Matt, of course, hasn't visited Catfish, quite yet. But yeah, in terms of items, we're looking, we're looking pretty good. But as we said, in terms of big keys, we're a little lacking, on those.
Yeah, for sure. So big key acquired. It is the Thieves Town big. So now the question is, when do you want to go to Thieves Town? We still don't know if it's a pendant or a crystal. We also don't have the small key, so we would be abandoning an item. It's just something to think about while you're playing through the seed.
Now, is this going to be a small key to Thieves Town? So close. But these,
almost.
Yeah, these pot keys are showing up fast and furious, though. I mean, maybe it's almost to be, expected just because of, it does have the hammer. Alright, so I think on Kaede's side, we got big key to Meyer, another small key to GT, and also we do have some information that Swamp Palace State is our green pendant.
Yeah, I like this play from Kaede a lot, actually, just because this is honestly something I don't see very often with Inverted. Most people start Light World with like, the generic, like, go for the big amount of chests, which is like North Light World, and there's Bombos on Bombos tablet on Matt's side, so that's nice to have. That's going to be for Meyer, but yeah, like doing this early, most likely you might have to double dip EP. This is something you don't see very often, so if something big is here, that could be very beneficial for them.
Yeah, no, for sure, and especially with, I'm not sure, I guess, like how Matt specifically feels about voiding versus dipping Easter Palace for this specific scene, but certainly it's causing a lot of variance, here on Kaede's side. So speaking of though, between Kaede and Matt, so Matt picked up Bombos from Bobo's tablet. It is randomized. Don't worry, from everything we've seen. But coupled with that big key to Meyer and how many marquees? 3. At this point, marquees. Looks like we have certainly a lot of access into Meyer. We don't have the Chaos Mars, so we can't finish it, but we do have a lot of items available to us.
I mean, I'm sure we're gonna find Kane. 90, not 90, some kind of percent probability we're gonna find it, but.
Oh, big key to ice. So, always nice to see before we actually go into ice.
That's one of those things that just makes you feel better when you find it. TR small and then another compass. Not really too big on the compass, but right now we've done 3 checks in Eastern over on Kaede's side, and nothing too much of value except $300. That's kind of valuable. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and especially for inverted seas, one of the things that runners tend to be more conscious of is at early money, just because we do have to pay off Kiki when pod is logically available to us. This seed has been certainly quite generous with its funds. Being able to basically finance not only pod in this case but also Zora.
Yeah, and you don't think about it too often, but Zora definitely being something you want to consider. Zora is very far out of the way in Inverted, especially since Flute doesn't do too much for you. if you have mitts, it's a little easier to get back to with the flute. But yeah, I think Matt's actually going to setting up a water walk here to do the Zora area and some of these light world checks. EP coming up empty for Kaede.
Unfortunately, but we do have, but I mean, I think, the fact that he did at least went over to the Eastern Palace area, right? He got that information about the Green Pendant, he got the early big key to Meyer, certainly could still play very much in his favor. Not sure in this case when and if, Bo's going to show up for Matt and when he's basically going to go over there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Matt's going to want to put off Eastern entirely until having all the required items. Maybe Eastern's a pendant. We it's key sanity.
Right.
We don't know that today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is the mini Moldorm cave play for Kaede. Gonna get, I believe, their Meyer big key out of this.
I think it was an Ice Palace big keys because the
Meyer it is the Ice Palace.
It was in Saha.
Yeah, you're right. We need some indicators on these keys when they pop up.
Mm-hmm. All right, the Matt though, no flippers as of yet, so these checks are technically still out of logic. But if we were ever lacking money to begin with for Zora, it's like an ATM right here with no fee. Just withdraw some more money from your checking account, and we can just basically go in and pay.
Oh yeah, for sure. Honestly, like, I'm wondering with the way Kaede is routing this, if we're gonna see a dip into desert.
Oh, does he have the book by chance?
Oh no, he doesn't. Okay.
Yeah,
never mind.
Kakariko, I think. Yeah, this is again a consequence of kind of going over to not the village initially. I mean, certainly this would have been very creative in terms of if something had basically been over to the Eastern Palace area, right?
Yeah.
That's immediately useful, would have paid off quite well for Kaede.
And Zora with another life lesson that chat always seems to love so much of. So we are going to finally get our 5-6 information on Kaede's side from the bomb shop vendor. Looks like Turtle Rock and Pod are going to be our 5-6 crystals today.
All right. So that's also certainly very good knowledge. Yeah, good remembering that in this case the bomb shop and Link's house have been inverted from light world to dark world. Looks like Matt is also going to get the exact same situation or information from the bomb vendor.
I'm sure you could talk this guy into selling you a bottle if you wanted to.
It's just maybe there's some supply chain issues here in light worlds.
Oh, so there's a mushroom. Don't know if we need it. We already have powder, so probably going to want to turn that in first chance we get.
Yeah, and of course, another difference between inverted and, not inverted is, especially when you have the flute and non-inverted, the mushroom is such an easy check, right? Just flute to 2, turn it in, transition to screen, and you're good to go, right? It's probably one of the least convenient checks in inverted.
Yeah, for sure. Uncle looking kind of scary here on Matt's side. Little dark screen. This dark Link walks up to you with red eyes, and it's like, here, take this. Man. Leave me alone. I'm not feeling so great.
Yeah, that's you don't really want to encounter Dark Link in any type of a dark alley or anything like that. Just have a set of glowing red eyes. We are actually going to see a little bit of minor difference here between that Tempered Sword and on Kaede's side and Master Sword on Matt's side. You see, like Kaede is just gonna dash through everything and kill everything in one shot. Matt's gonna have to take another swing or two. Some of these guards. Or a hammer.
Sure. This is kind of awkward because they both have red mail. So
yeah, that's true.
Either we're setting up a really long death warp, or we're just never gonna see. There's another small to Turtle Rock on Kaede's side, but I guess we're just never gonna see Dark Cross, or I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And of course, also right, and a point of note, this is key sanity. There is a Hyrule Castle small key out there somewhere, and so everything basically after the map chest, which was the very first one, this is technically considered out of logic. It's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, again, but logic at this point, especially key logic, is not stopping these runners. Looks like Kaede. Oh man, but how many hearts is the Dante? 10 hearts on his side.
Yeah, it's quite a few. I mean, it makes sense. You don't want to leave that behind in inverted. It's not fun to get back to. Matt's going to be kind of in the same situation. We'll see if he decides to go for the death warp as well.
Yeah, and looks like Kaede though. Alright, so Matt's not gonna go for the death warp at all. Oh, that is a big key to pod though.
That's one of those elusive big keys that I'm sure these guys will be glad to see.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, never mind. Looks like Matt is also going to set up his own death warp. He just wanted the prize, I guess, before death warping. But yeah, like we did see on both sides, pod is a 5/6 crystal. Big key absolutely required. Now, of course, we still can't beat the dungeon without a bow. But it does open up another check for us in the palace.
Yeah. All right. So both of them going to do Dark Cross. This will be the end of the journey. We're kind of stuck in here after this, unless this is a Hyrule Castle small key, you know.
Do you think they're going to take another death warp to try and get to the beginning?
Oh, no, this is a save and quit for sure, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, so this is another one of those differences in inverted. You have to really be conscious of basically light world overworld routing. You're basically playing the game as if you don't have a flute. That's kind of it. And in this case, you know, they don't have the mirror either. And so, you know, it's going to be another difference between inside dungeons as well.
Yeah, and a little bit of, you know, time difference there. That's some game knowledge you can kind of put in your back pocket if you play the game with the difference of, you know, ball and chain guard versus that green guard as far as the amount of damage. I honestly did not know that today. So I learned something. This was a productive session already.
It's not often, you know, we see red mail death warping in the front of Escape.
Yeah, you hate it. Like you don't see that often for sure, and when it happens, you just absolutely hate it. But yeah, damage tables in this game very hard. You have to kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah, especially even on like bosses too. You know, it's like you expect, you know, a linear damage table for most bosses. You know, with like fighter swords and master swords tempered. It's not quite that way.
No. Okay. I was like, are we getting a ped check? But again, no book. Book is very close. Kaede doesn't know that.
But this is actually going to be, first check though into the Lost Ones, because Matt, I don't think has actually been up here. We did get to pick up a map to Ice Palace. Certainly going to be nice knowledge if we ever do a map check in the Dark World.
Yeah, Divergence and all new checks yet again. There's the fourth sword.
Wow.
So we're on even sword footing, if that's a way to put that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure Kaede is gonna find that. And honestly, like the gap from master to tempered is bigger than the gap from tempered to gold. You know, gold has its advantages, obviously, but it's not that big of a difference for these guys.
Yeah. We are going to see potentially, you know, if... Oh, no. Kaede. Unfortunately, got a little too close to the lumberjack guy. Got a text box, you know, in exchange. Not quite exactly what we still want to see. That is Ether, by the way.
All right.
Looks like we are, you know, going to put those two castle tower keys to use here. That is, actually, no, we do know that Turtle Rock is a 5/6 crystal, so 100% required. Oh, actually, no, maybe not, because this is inverted, right?
It's gonna have to be a very odd item / key layout for it to be like hard required. That's kind of one of those pitfalls that you honestly could get sucked into thinking I have to go do this. You know, if we're sticking to logic, obviously we would already have this done and all we'd have to do is bonk it open. But you know, both of these runners sequence broke, you know, the hammer and got our light world access that way. So, you know, it's really hard to figure out inverted logic on the fly and make sure you're not doing something stupid all at the same time.
Oh yeah. Graveyard Legend gave us a checked big key to Tower of Hera. That's something to be pretty nice. Again, don't know what Hera is. We do have the hook shots. So when we do eventually kind of get over there, we are going to be able to, you know, at least get the big chest. Don't have to leave that behind. Hera, of course, being in inverted is one of probably the worst dungeons to get to, just because, well, you know, normally in non-inverted, if you have a mirror, you know, you could just mirror right up. That doesn't quite happen in inverted. You're going to have to go all the way around.
All right, so there's a small key in back of pod. on Kaede's side. Or I'm sorry, back of escape. That's
we were thinking about pod because we did find
it's
repeated
dark.
pod
It's
unit.
dark in the
It
back.
is.
And technically this is the required moon pearl, so I'll call it Palace of Darkness today. But.
I mean, yeah, exactly. It's inverted. You know, Matt, of course, going to be here, as Dark Link, right? Going to also give us the exact same check. Oh, we did. That's right. Okay, we pick up a small kid of desert. Yeah, Kaede still has not been to Kakariko yet. So we're not going to get that book out of Blind Blind's basement quite yet. But with that small kid of desert, that might, incentivize Matt to, go over maybe to this palace area a little bit more.
Yeah, and both of these runners have kind of put the desert area, like Desert Dungeon plus Agina, in a weird spot because they're all by themselves. There's no really like incentive or a fast way to get there. The only thing you could think about is maybe I find the big key before I have to go. But who knows? The big key could be in there. That's kind of like the chance you take.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, Matt basically went as far as Bombo's tablet because, we did find, just due to his routing, we into early Kakariko, so we did have the book in order to access Bombo's tablet. Hasn't really done anything else kind of over there, right? No Gina, no checkerboard, no inside a desert. Yeah, especially now, maybe he just wants to, wait for that Desert Palace big key. Or maybe even a Desert Palace map too, right? Like, if we have some more knowledge, that might also influence his decision.
So if it's a pendant, do you head over there now?
Yeah, I don't know. I was actually thinking that too. It's like, but I guess I don't know. Maybe there's one of the things that you want to or have to accept about keys is that double dipping of dungeons is going to be inevitable. So maybe you're just willing to go over there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very statistically unlikely possibility that if these runners did map checks in both Light World and Dark World with the maps that we found, maybe we have all our pendant knowledge, but not 100% guaranteed. We do have a key on Mushroom for Turtle Rock.
Oh, wow. All right, so
that is all 4. So I guess as long as the mirror shows up, we don't have to worry about the Aga play for the Ether Medallion. You got to consider the mirror could be in there. It's like that's something on your mind at this point.
Oh, jeez, we have such a fast check. Meyer Pendant and Ice Palace is our last crystal.
Thank you, Matt, for
that was a really nice, convenient map check. This is also very interesting. Actually, so Dante, where is this Kena Samaria?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
If I did, I'd be so confused if I knew. But Matt's gonna give us the back of Skull Woods. Inverted's really hard to try to, like, once you're in Light World, it's so hard to just have a hunch on anything. The early game's usually very telling, and then it just starts to open up, like, wider and wider. But Matt's got every small key. We know this is technically bow-locked by logic, but that doesn't really mean a whole lot to these guys.
Yeah, and given Kaede's gonna pick up his gold sword here really soon, from Magic Bat, but given that both runners are basically at the pinnacle of offense in terms of sword ability, Mothula probably doesn't stand too much of a chance. You got Fire Rod, we got Half Magic, we got Tempered and Gold Sword. Don't do any damage difference, but I mean Moth should go down pretty quickly.
Yeah, we'll see how the fight goes for Matt. I know he's going to probably try to do this as fast as possible with like the potential dash strat at the top to get the dash pokes, but Kaede going to give us the library and the race game check. That's going to be another big key for Kaede.
Yeah, Matt is on his quest for the 124 and NMG, so Mothula is a very familiar fight to him, especially on this type of equipment.
It was a very solid fight overall. And that is going to be crystal number 1 for the race at 42, basically 43-minute mark.
Actually, I think that's actually pretty good, right? Especially for like inverted keys or any type of key sanity, getting crystals or basically clearing out dungeons is really not going to be that easy, just because we're missing a lot more things than just like the 1 or 2 items that can lock up the dungeon.
It's definitely not a bad time, given that we got the Moon Pearl a minute in. When you get the Moon Pearl that early and inverted, you never know what you're doing. Or sometimes if you don't have that, it leads you to do some dungeons to get your chain of progression. It's just kind of odd. But here's a map for the Tower of Hera, so we can get that Light World info. Maybe we get a Light World map check out of Matt in the next few minutes.
Yeah, still no mirror, unfortunately, means that, we are still going to have to, continue on to start in the Dark World. Oh, although speaking of, though, with that Bombos medallion in hand and a bunch of Meyer small keys to his name, looks like Matt's gonna actually be dipping into Misery Meyer here.
Yeah, I kind of like this play. It's pendant, but, we may not need the cane. We might find the cane in here. That's always a possibility.
Yeah, Relkin, our tracker today, actually making a very good observation. So Matt still hasn't been over to the Eastern Palace as a hospital area. He does not have the big key to Meyer that Kaede does. So he's going to be actually down one check when Kaede makes his way over here.
Yeah, definitely could be a storyline moment, just depending on how things pan out. Speaking of those moments, Kaede has made the decision to go ahead and get their Bombos medallion off of Bombos' tablet. Yes, it's vanilla today. And we're going to dive desert. This is something, Matt kind of has all by its lonesome.
Yeah, sorry. So Kaede looks like he remembered in this case that he does have the small key, so we are going to be able to get Desert right side. One thing that I do hope Kaede does, and hopefully it's going to be after Desert Palace, is that he does have Checkerboard Cave and Gina still open to him. That's a third bottle. Pretty nice.
Oh yeah, for sure. I always forget that Checkerboard is just something that's just there, and inverted.
Yeah. All right. So third bottle with a green potion on Desert Right with a useless GT map. So nothing to really write home about. Meanwhile, though, Matt is just gonna give us the Firelock side checks already in Meyer. Basically, not even gonna bother to save the cutscene checks for last.
Yeah, you might as well just go ahead and knock it all out if you're making that trek. There's a compass on Kaede's side.
Desert seems pretty empty so far, but I mean, we are doing this, right to left, so maybe there'll be something.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! All right, well, so we okay. Most likely that Kaede Samari is going to be required, but geez, finding it here in Meyer in the vanilla cutscene chest is pretty nuts.
So mad.
It's pretty nuts. So Dancy, all right, so Matt is not going to have this issue, but when Kaede dips into Meyer and he finds the cane in the vanilla big key chest, are you finishing the dungeon?
It's a very tough call to make. I think it's logical to do so because we found so many. Now, speaking of, we talked about these keys earlier, or Checkerboard earlier. Here's a big key over in Checkerboard, and it's the big key to Ganon's tower.
Okay, all right. So that's that's definitely pretty important. I was slightly concerned before he picked it up that it was going to be a big key to Desert. In which case, it would basically been, would have been really nice to be able to visit Checkerboard Cave before Desert. Just because again, like in inverted, you don't have like the backdoor shortcut, right? You're gonna have to go through the front of Desert again in order to get to the back.
Yeah. Just a heart piece in Agina, and there's our ice rod. So Matt's honestly probably feeling very good about this dive. Just all things considered. Kaede, that you're going to be in a really tough spot when you finish this out. Like, do you finish and get that pendant? Or do you, bail out after getting two major pieces of progression that are hard required today?
Yeah. I mean, especially, since, like, the Kingdom of Samaria would certainly... Well, I guess I don't know how much it would open up, but I mean, like, you do have a lot of stuff available to you. Kingdom of Samaria also would make Ice Palace, look pretty nice. We don't have the flippers yet. We do know it's a crystal, at least on Matt's side. And so, certainly it would be something that, might also kind of pull you in.
Yeah. Now, I was thinking Matt might put off Desert, especially if we found out it was a pendant, but here he is over in the area, so I was thinking maybe that GT big key could elude him just a little bit if this was a, like I said, a pendant, but he is going to clear out this area, going to be getting his GT big key, so advantage from Kaede disappearing a little bit.
Although, we do see some new checks on Kaede's side, is that we are doing the backup Thieves Town. Of course, we still see on our tracker today that neither Matt nor Kaede still has that Desert Palace, Thieves Town small key. So it looks like Kaede at this point has, decided that he was going to be okay with not having access to the big chest. Although that's a small key to Thieves Town, it would have been pretty funny.
It would have been nice. I don't think it can be there, but yeah, like it would have been kind of wild. I think we do have one more opportunity for it to show up here in Thieves. And Matt's getting his GT Big Key as we speak from Checkerboard. I'll have to talk to him about that later. Needs to do that room correctly.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Kaede did it pretty close to correctly.
Yeah, Kaede went in the middle, and well, that is this could be a nice time game on over Matt.
Yeah, every frame counts. You never know. All right, so Kaede, while Matt heading into Desert, is going to be giving us another new check. We see our stun prize is 5 arrows, but we're getting a map from the Maiden Cell to Pod. Kind of useless, about as good as the Hyrule Castle map, because we already talked to the guy, and we know it's 5-6 crystal today.
Yeah, so of course, yeah, Matt's gonna pick up basically the most amount of value was that pendant, was the bottle with cream potion. Meanwhile, though, Kaede is hopefully gonna pick up his first crystal as well. Coming into blinds, he's pretty loaded in terms of damage output and safety. So just to have the Cane of Burnout out just in case anything does happen to him. Should be an expected fight here.
Yeah, doing fairly well. Keeping this on the rails, and does a good job finishing that off.
Alright, looks like really nothing of value outside of that crystal here in the back of Thieves Town. So, alright, where are we going to next? Matt checked out the torch, saw the heart piece, he is not interested, and we're safe and quitting. At least we have a flute.
I mean, it's nice.
I think Matt's pretty happy to have the flute, and he was so happy to have the flute. He's gonna call the flute again.
It's a lot of people were like, I don't like the flute, but you know what? It's pretty good. Matt's making good use of it with the fake flipper here. Some game knowledge, knowing you can do that, and we're gonna make an Ice Palace play.
Yeah, this is certainly going to be very interesting. Of course, we do see in this case that there is a Light World portal access on the islands. Can't access it right now until we get those myths. And of course, we may never see the myths. In this case, it is inverted. The only real thing that is logically hard locked by those myths is King's Tomb. But more often than not, just because of how inverted works, you may never see those myths.
Yeah. It does make it a little odd when it goes from mitts are always required to oh, there's a bow.
Wow, dude.
All right, so a bow is locked by flippers. So where are our flippers today?
I was actually just gonna point this out, right? So, right, Matt, because he fake flippered into Ice Palace, right? That means that he actually does not have the flipper, so he knows in this case the bow is behind the flippers. But yeah, we actually have seen quite a bit. Where are those flippers dancing?
Yeah, and honestly, our tracker Relkin in chat is making a very good point. With the dungeon layout today, we may not need... Very good fight there. I gotta interrupt to say, very good fight from Kaede on Mothula, finishing off getting their second crystal. But yeah, we may not need the flippers today, so this fake flipper may actually prove to be, the play. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, and certainly, Matt does have, I'm sure he has, the logic, kind of in the back of his mind, but... And especially at this point, missing so many things, you are just probably going to try and get as many items, as you can out of Ice Palace, right? You're not going to be hardly be in go mode by the time you come here. Most likely won't be Flipper's go mode, so just going to probably full clear out the dungeon. And of course, with that really free, small key to Ice Palace, we can basically just get everything, quickly in Ice. In addition to having the big key, when we came in here to begin with, we're not going to have to leave the Ice Palace big chest behind.
All right, so Kaede headed back up the mountain, and Matt gonna continue on through the big blue Ice Palace.
Where is Kaede going here up the mountain? Do you think this is gonna be Aga?
It could be an Aga play.
Is
Guess
it
not.
Spike Cave? Is it Spike Cave maybe? No,
Well, the
Spike Cave
Spike
is in the Light
Cave
World. You're right, Light World.
or Dark World.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
the
like,
Dark World, right? Yeah. It's in the not this world that Kaede's in right now.
yeah. Yeah, definitely something I do want to ask Matt about, like his thought process of this fake flipper into ice. I think it's a good play. Obviously, it seems to be one of the right plays that we've gotten since we got our bow.
Yeah, and of course, after this, Matt has, basically Palace of Darkness open to him. He doesn't have Eastern Palace Big Key quite yet. We also don't know if Eastern Palace is a pendant or crystal yet, but that is going to be something else available to him. Kaede finally making his way over to the west side of Death Mountain, reminding us, or showing us that, well, this is the only way that you can get to Hera in this case. With the Hera Big Key that he picked up, looks like he's going to be another full clear of this dungeon. Nice fight on Matt's side for Cold Stare.
Yeah, very nicely done. And clearing out the entire dungeon, getting yet another crystal, bringing the count to 2. Here's another big key on Kaede's side, and it's the big key to desert, so that's
right.
definitely required.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another one of those like very elusive big keys as well. Desert Palace Big Key really just locks like the Desert Palace Big Chest and like Lamos. So, when you have something basically that just locks like 1 or 2 things, it can be quite difficult to find.
Yeah, absolutely. So Matt gonna go ahead and I guess clear out Pod with all of his goodies that he has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty fast Hera pot up on Kaede's side as well.
Indeed. And we do have that Tower of Hera big, and that is our mirror!
Oh my gosh, holy cow, that is a
huge gaming moment.
That is an incredibly great find on Kaede's side, and well, that trip over to Hera, there is no way that we're not getting that mirror. Oh, man.
That's something that you're very happy about this play, because it's just so far out of the way.
Alright, so Kaede looks like he's gonna try and do some dash strats here on Moldorm. Although we did get a poke. Oh, we can dash and poke. Yes, from he has gold sword.
We can timber poke.
Yeah,
we're true gamers with that butter sword. There's another small key to Gold Woods, and Kaede giving us the boomerang hovering in place yet again. I kind of like that little bit of touch, but that is crystal number 3.
Yeah, no, Kaede's making some really great progress, right? We do see, a little bit of a few things that are missing on his tracker, versus Matt, but it's just because he hasn't really gone over to like the different places, right? He's definitely gonna go to Ice Palace and he's gonna pick up his bow. I guess maybe like the bigger question right now is, when does he go into Misery Mire, right? And get his King of Samaria and his Ice Rod.
Yeah.
Oh no! I think Kaede wanted to not. I'm not sure if he knows like where to jump down in order to kind of backdoor into some of these places, like probably backdoor Turtle Rock.
Sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's very hard.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. Like it's just that it happens. If you pick wrong, you're not very happy.
Oh yeah, that's because it just adds to the number of climbs that you have to make.
Alright, so yeah, Kaede, yeah.
Things to keep in mind, we don't have that Ice Rod yet on Kaede's side, but also neither one of the runners have the big key to Turtle Rock. Now, that can show up here, and that would honestly maybe be bad for Kaede.
Oh, hey, look, there's our Hyrule Castle small key, so, everything, I think that was at the Tower of Hera big key, I want to say, in Zelda Cell. Now it's going to be in Logic, so wow, that's... And a mirror shield. Kaede doesn't have to do any more skips anymore, but he's still going to show us, in this case, how to avoid these lasers.
Indeed. Oh, there's our flippers.
There are flippers. Very interesting.
So, on the logical path, Kaede's in a good spot. However, knowing what we do with seeing 2 screens, I kind of like Matt's position a little better with that sequence break of Ice Palace. Now granted, something very required could be in Swamp, and then at that point, you're gonna need those flippers.
I am kind of curious now as to where that well Turtle Rock Big Key is, because so right now, like, the only way we're kind of backdooring into Turtle Rock, right, is with that mirror. But we found the mirror in Hera. Oh no, so I guess like the logic says that you're supposed to basically climb the mountain all the way around, go to Hera, get your mirror, and then jump down to do what Kaede did, and then go out and find it. Okay.
Honestly, I really would have liked it a little better if Kaede would have played into TR a little more. I'm not sure if that was an oversight or just a decision based off the items that they got at the time.
He doesn't have the Kina Samaria though, does he?
Oh, he does not. You're absolutely right. That would explain why you can't do that.
Yeah. I actually, well, I guess for what it's worth, I don't know how good Kaede is at hovering, nor do I know if he wants to invest that time.
You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I forget that when I see an item, it's not on both screens. But we did see Matt picking up a big key.
It was to Swamp Palace. So Matt, of course, has 0 entries into Swamp Palace. He doesn't have the mirror that Kaede has. He doesn't have the flickers that Kaede has. So that big key is not going to be too much of a concern for him. But certainly could be very interesting if we have to dive into Swamp Palace and Kaede doesn't do pod before going into Swamp.
Yeah, for sure. So Matt gonna invest the time and get his gold sword too. So, very, very strong offensively today on both sides.
All right, so Desert Palace Big Key doesn't quite pay off. Well, sorry, I mean, it gives us another check, that we can mark off our tracker. Nothing, no value was in that item that we found.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kaede is getting, despite having gold sword, he's definitely getting a little bit bullied here in Desert. He just wants to dash, and no one's letting him do it.
So Matt gonna be diving into Thieves now as well. No small key to be found yet. So if something is there, both of them are leaving it behind. So that's pretty equal ground as far as that goes. I do think this is like one of the really cool things about Inverted is like crystal count. We're dead even. And, about to be 4 and 4. But it's still up in the air on whether or not someone's in the lead. It just really depends on where keys pan out, where other items pan out too. So, Inverted, so it's fun to watch. It's just so stressful to play.
Oh yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Especially if you're not quite as familiar with Inverted. There's a lot of mental energy that has to go into figuring out like what can I do in Light World? Oh, what can I do in Dark? What can't I do in Dark World? And it certainly can be a bit strained.
Yeah, for sure.
With the Fire Rod, Kaede looks like he's trying to take down, Limos, but then remember he has the gold sword, we could just, slash our way through because it does the same amount of damage. It might even be a little bit faster.
Yeah, you do what you gotta do. And we do find out Desert is a pendant, so unless the pedestal is required, maybe not needing that today, and that's something to think about. Could be just some time wasted, but hopefully not. We'll see how things pan out.
Yeah, well, so with Desert being a pendant, that is, especially even Relkin updating our trackers for us, I think that gives us the complete set of crystal pendant knowledge. So we do know that in addition to all the other stuff that we were looking for, we also are going to need that Easter Palace Big Key.
Yeah, we're definitely going to need that.
Alright, so Kaede hopping into the Light World. Where are we going?
I don't know. Oh, okay. This is good. This is going to be the turn into mushroom.
Okay, alright, yeah. So yeah, thank you, Quick Swap, for at least giving us a hint. In this case, that he hasn't quite done this check yet.
All right, yes. Matt doing a good job taking down Blind, keeping it on the rails as well, getting $20, getting that 4th crystal. So we're back even 4-4. There are 3 crystals to go.
Yeah, so right, let's take some inventory here. You know, so between our two runners, you know, we do have the required, well, at least the what would seem to be logically required flippers. You know, on Kaede's side, Matt has the bow and ice rod, which Kaede has not been to Pendant Misery Mire. And other than that, and of course, you know, Kaede has the mirror that Matt, you know, hasn't been over to Harry yet, which looks like this might be his trip over.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else he's gonna do up here. You know, given he knows that ether is required and where it's at, so this is probably the play, and this is gonna kind of put them yet again on equal footing. Kaede headed over. Well, I said he was headed over. Oh yeah, he's gonna mirror. He could do Ice Palace.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering if he's gonna give us a flipper checks first. You know, we did see Matt kind of sequence break that stuff out. You know, Waterfall Fairy. You know, and Sora. I don't think Kaede's done that yet. So yeah, this is going to be maybe like a hobo check, maybe into Waterfall, and then run out into Ice Palace. I guess we'll see. But you know, regardless, it's going to be good news, you know, because Kaede is going to pick up his bow, and then presumably, you know, after that, he can, you know, kind of retrace some of Matt's steps earlier and go over to Pod and claim his next crystal. Ooh, alright, so Matt actually giving us a very early map check of his own, so he does now know that Desert Palace is a pendant, so I believe now he also has knowledge that he does need the Eastern Palace Big Key. Right, so between our two okay, so what do we still need for Gomo? We need Eastern Palace Big Key, we need Turtle Rock Big Key, because we know that it is a crystal. Are we missing anything else, Nancy? I'm,
between
looking
the
at our
two, I
trackers here.
guess not. I guess not. You know, we could be getting really close.
I am also kind of curious to see how much of Turtle Rock, you know, we need to do, right? You know, just because we do have all 4 Turtle Rock small keys, we can actually make quite a bit of headway. Just, you know, going through Turtle Rock from the back with 4 small keys. Alright, that was also a really nice, fast Harapot on Matt's side as well. This is going to be good because he does have the Hera Big Key as well, so he's going to be able to pick up his mirror really soon.
Yeah. And there it is.
Alright, so I know that, you know, Matt's been, you know, kind of grinding out the 124. He is normally used to seeing Moldorm here with, you know, Fighter Shield and Fighter Sword. Hopefully he's going to be able to manage here with, you know, a Fire Shield and a Gold Sword. We first have to enter the arena.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Alright, though, Kaede finishing up his water checks. You know, in this case, I think we already saw on Matt's side that it wasn't really super useful. We did, you know, Kaede, though, is basically swimming in cash. We actually see, even after the 500 payout to Zoro, he's still going to be well over 1,000 rupees. So it's, I don't think he's going to be worried too much about money. Yeah, so with the mirror, you know, we did see on Kaede's side that he did eventually find his way over to, you know, to Laser Bridge with the mirror. Oh, Matt, jeez. Actually, did we see this on Kaede's side?
We did not,
okay,
actually.
So
this is a new check, and it was available this whole time.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Alright, I hope Kaede doesn't forget about it. Or, you know what, I really hope that Kaede does forget about it because it is a vanilla heart piece.
Skip.
Yes. I hope that he doesn't have to waste, you know, his time. And you guys just see here, you know, on Matt's side, just kind of how many times we potentially have to spend on this, you know, on this mountain, but also how useful, you know, this mirror is.
All right, so Matt confirming we don't have the big key.
Yes.
Gonna talk to the chest. The chest kind of says no, I will not open.
Yeah, and this is also, by the way, you know, new information here, you know, in Turtle Rock itself. You know, Matt does have the King of Samaria and all 4 Turtle Rock small key, so he at least is going to be able to give. I assume he's going to check vanilla big key chest, crystal roller. I guess I'm not quite sure like how much in this case of this dungeon he actually, you know, wants to do. That was a really slick quick swap over to powder and get that fairy refill on Kaede's side.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, it looks like Kaede though not interested basically in finishing up the rest of Ice Palace. He basically just wanted the health refill before diving into pod with that bow that he just got out of Compass chest.
I kind of like this. This is, I think, Kaede maybe sticking to logic a little bit with no small keys, but we are gonna have to get that crystal. I don't think they know that though, so it's a little weird from our vantage point since we see both.
So I believe also there was an observation made by Dunka in chat that we did find the Thief's Town small key here in Turtle Rock. How much mental damage is this?
A few points.
A few points. All right. That is unfortunate. That's certainly not something that you want to see after you finish up Thief's Town, especially knowing that there wasn't really anything in the back.
I mean, even if you get boots early, like we did in the Moon Pearl, there's always that outlying possibility that this is going to be a super long race, just because of the way Inverted plays. You never know, and like we talked about, as Kaede gets their Swamp Palace big, we could be in for a long haul with that last location Thieves Town on both sides.
Yeah,
you never.
that's
I mean, that's kind of what we don't want to see. Maybe chat wants to see it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you're wrong if you want to see it though.
All right, we did find. I think that is our. I want to say that's our 6th pod key at this
point. It is.
Yeah. All right, confirming on by Rocken as well. Yeah. So that finally our hammer now is in logic.
Yeah, that kind of proves what I was saying, and I'm pretty sure everyone picked up on really quickly by sequence breaking that hammer the way they did. The game wanted you to go beat the dungeon and go get your ether medallion, so that's a bit of a time save. If you're analyzing that, that's like, all right, well, I feel okay about it, but what's the problem? What's the likelihood that my opponent probably did the same thing?
All right, Matt did the middle part of Turtle Rock. We're back, on another mountain loop in order to, in this case, do Laser Bridge.
Yeah, and Matt's going to get his flippers here, going to feel probably kind of good about his sequence break into ice after seeing these.
Oh, yeah, actually, well, yeah. Yeah, sorry. So,
Matt remembering Mirror Shield, I can block lasers.
That's right. I want to say that's actually faster, like just walking and using the Mirror Shield versus like even doing like the laser skips.
It's got to be close, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is faster because of the dash charge up time. So Kaede heading into Helmasaur. You guys know how this works. We saw it on Matt's side. 17 hammer hits to the mask, and then with that gold sword, we just need 2 slashes to his beautiful green jewel face.
Yeah.
But Matt giving us a new check, so we want to keep an eye on that too. Just $20. So if Kaede puts that off, that's going to be time saved in his pocket.
Yeah, and of course, very convenient Turtle Rock compass. It does show that Matt has gotten 10 out of the 12 items. The only 2 remaining items that he can't get are the Turtle Rock Big Chest and Trinix himself. Yes, yeah, right. And the reason is that those are locked by the Turtle Rock Big Key, which in this case, that is, I believe, one of 2 keys left for Go Mode, the Turtle Rock Big Key and the Eastern Palace Big Key.
They're always so elusive. Matt is going to head back into... So this is good for Kaede heading into Mire. I think this is probably one of the last things he has left besides going through Aga Tower like Matt is, but we do have 1 chest up here. I doubt we see Matt finish this out.
Yeah, right. Because he did check Ether, or sorry, he did check Lumberjack. It was Ether, and I think at this point, because he's already claimed everything in Turtle Rock and he does have the mirror, he's not gonna need to open up the front door. All right. So unfortunately, just 3 bombs in the second chest. But at least Matt's gonna get some peace of mind. It looks like this is actually gonna be our Spike Cave check. So Matt has half magic. He's got Kina Burna. He should have enough health. It looks like actually he was quick swapping over to make sure that he does have at least 1 potion to his name. Looks like he does, so he should be absolutely fine. All right, Kaede though, making his way over through Misery Mire. It looks like a slightly different route than what Matt ended up taking, just because he did have the big key going in. Looks like just a heart container, so Matt won't get punished because he didn't have the big key. Still doesn't have the big key because it's still in the the back of Sahashula's hut, which Matt still has not been over there. maybe this is his opportunity to see it.
So, okay, Matt's actually going to do pyramid. I was like, is Matt going back into pod?
No.
Did he actually leave something in pod? Like, I'm so lost.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. So Matt is continuing to avoid the Eastern Palace area. It looks like this is going to be our pyramid shack, potentially.
Yeah, this is, I believe, a Mire small. So,
yeah,
nothing of major value to be obtained.
Right,
I'm
so
really starting to get suspicious of that Thieves Town big chest, though. Like, just given what we have left, like, we've seen a lot between the two runners.
Yeah, no, that's really a good point. So we looks like Matt's finally gonna at least cross some more density checks on his side. This looks like to be Eastern Palace area. But yeah, the dancing, like, what kind of do we have left between our runners?
We've got mirror, so we could do the smith chain as well as hammer pegs. I kind of think that's it. I'm probably misthinking. You know, it's Friday. I'm having a hard time thinking.
Well, speaking of maybe another potential check here, you know, we were postulating or, wondering what Kaede would do after he picks up the Kane of Samaria from the cutscene chest and the ice rod. We have not seen what is on Pendant Vitreous yet.
That's very true, and it's very available. It's probably not even on Kaede's mind right now because they don't have the cane, but they're probably going to have it in the next, couple of minutes at most. All right, so this is good for Kaede because Matt is headed into Eastern without the big key. So that little bit of time Kaede invested is going to be given back to them. I think this is good. For Matt's vantage point, this makes sense. But from the commentator booth, it's good for Kaede.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, so right, I think we were trying to figure out what, again, these runners kind of left to their name, on their maps and or in their checks, and Eastern Palace is definitely an item dense location. I mean, it's like, otherwise, what do you have left? You're gonna do Smith Chain. You're gonna go, if you're Matt, are you gonna go back to Mire, for 2 checks? One is on Pendant Vitreous, and the other one's in the big key. Like, I don't know. It seems like a very high time investment.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Kaede's mirroring out.
Kaede's sleeping.
Now you got to think about this. I think they know that Mire is a pendant, and they also know that. All right, everything makes more sense now, because they did not have the cane when they came to ice.
Oh, that is a very Kaede's playing the game, right? He is thinking like, you know what? I got my bow. I can go finish up pod. Let's see if I can find the Cane of Samara before I keep going into Ice Palace. And you know what? Very good thing that he went to Mire first.
Yeah, honestly, from the vantage point of Kaede, I really like this play because they dove in, they got some progression, said, hey, this opens up something for me, I'm out. And maybe I get the cane out of it. At that point, it's worth the double dip. Obviously the bow did not lead to the cane, but still not investing too much extra time by doing the entire dungeon without cane.
Now, I guess, so with the flippers, with the mirror, we do have a Swamp Palace first chest open to us. We do not need a Swamp Palace small key in order to access the chest. Given that, though, we don't know where the Swamp Palace small key is. I don't know what you're going to do if it's vanilla. I guess you would just keep going, I assume. But that's not really like an appealing, but that's like, that's
not
again
an appealing play because it's so far out of the way. Like you have to. It's not a huge time commitment, but you have to be willing to commit like at least a couple. I'd say maybe a minute plus out of your time in the seed for that.
Yeah, sorry. So speaking of another time investment, we still don't have mitts, by the way. As Matt is demonstrating again that getting over to the light world via this portal is a little bit we can't just lift up the big rock as a shortcut in this case. Oh, with the book out, Matt in fact is actually gonna give us a check.
Baby.
Finally on the pedestal.
I kind of like this at this point because you never know what you're gonna need.
And this also might influence, his decision as to whether or not he's going to dive straight into Mire, right, and clear it.
Oh no!
Gosh! Oh my god!
That doesn't help.
Okay, no. Alright, we're just gonna put that off of our minds. We're gonna pretend that we did not see the small Kaede on the pedestal because that would be so awful in order to be able to have. Talking about a minute plus of time investment, right? So that is just tack on another minute to pulling the pedestal.
Yeah, like that. You don't even want to think about that.
Oh my gosh.
So this is Smith Chain from Matt. I kind of like this. I like this versus like Dive Swamp right now.
Oh yeah.
But given everything he's done, I kind of would not be super surprised to see him re-dive Thieves Town if nothing shows up here.
Oh, he is in the area. I was also so that's certainly one option. I was also wondering if this is gonna be him like walking the purple chest over. We got a big key though. Oh, all right. So that mirror, Harvard. Well, we don't know what the myths are, so that mirror right now is certainly very much required.
Yeah. Very good fight there from Kaede with that butter sword. But yeah, like that's a good find. That opens up what, 2 chests or 2 checks rather. One boss, 1 chest.
Yeah, and of course, more importantly, it does open up also the 5/6 crystal in this case. That does open up Pyramid Fairy as well. If Matt decides to go up there to kill Trinex. But of course, again, we're still looking for the Eastern Palace big key, and you would really like to be able to find it here, not on the mountain, because. Well, climbing the mountain is, I understand, is, very commonly done in Inverted, as Kaede is demonstrating for us, but it is something that you would like to avoid.
We're getting our Fitbit steps in for the day. Like, we're very healthy in the Link to the Past world.
Good thing we have boots. That's all I can say. Alright, though it looks like temporarily Matt is opting to not at least check the big chest of Thieves Town. He is walking down the purple chest. Hopefully this is going to be his Eastern Palace big key, because then he will be in go mode. But of course, if it's not, let's see what he ends up doing with regards to Swamp. But it's a big key too! Oh my gosh!
Alright, well, at the 1 hour 21 minute mark, Matt has entered the state of go mode.
Oh wow! All right, that mirror paying dividends. No mitts in sight. The entire Smith sequence was required in this case. The actual Smith had the Turtle Rock big key, and the purple chest in this case had the Eastern Palace big key. Wow, that was super fast. Like we had no idea where these keys are, and well, here they are.
So at this point, it's just a matter of kind of clearing things out. Normally, we see runners say, I'm going to do, TR last. Doesn't really matter in Inverted because of the position of Ganon's Tower being on top of Hyrule Castle, at least in this version of the randomizer. So that is, what we're looking at. You just got to climb the mountain. Again, more Fitbit steps.
Yeah, and so actually, this is actually kind of an interesting book. So I kind of forgot about, again, Inverted versus not, is that, typically you want to be able to try and save Turtle Rock, as your last dungeon, as you just said. But in this case, Matt's decision to continue to do Purple Chest after he got the Thieves Town big key is actually really good. Because, I mean, I can certainly see him saying, you know what, all right, I got the Turtle Rock big key, let me go up the mountain, because I have to come back anyway in order to do Eastern somewhere. But in this case, he continued, to do the Purple Chest and Hammer Peg, so very good decision on his part.
So yeah, like, Kaede getting the flippers early was kind of a good thing, but now this is where it becomes a little bit of a bad thing because we're climbing the mountain yet again.
Oh,
This is the Mimic Cave play, and then we're probably going back into Turtle Rock. All right, so we are in the Trinex fight. We got a gold sword. We got a nice rod. We got a fire rod. The heads are blowing up already. Matt doing the backdoor strats. Gonna hopefully get the 0 cycle, and does. Just a matter of landing the double spin and slash, or just 3 slashes. We're on gold sword. It's nice and comfy today.
Yeah, we are on gold sword. Not quite, of course, the NMG muscle memory, but in this case, you just kind of slash a couple times, and we should be good.
I mean, the only thing that can make this more comfy for these runners, like execution-wise, is if the silvers show up, but they're probably in Ganon's tower somewhere.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that, Dancy. It's like, these runners are basically just decked out with everything you could possibly imagine. They got red mail, they got half magic, they got gold sword, they got mirror shield. Silvers would certainly be very nice, but certainly not required in this case. You see Kaede basically not even worrying about, facing that laser. He's just gonna walk straight in, doesn't even have to worry about the damage because he's on red mail.
All right, so that's crystal number 6 for Matt, and Matt's about to walk in for crystal number 7. It's just very unfortunate for Kaede. I think, Matt's kind of in the driver's seat at the rate we're going. Kind of his race to lose. Things could still happen, but, statistically, this is probably in Matt's favor.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, just like, we've got Moldorm and Ganon, it doesn't really matter, how much defense you have. If you're on a platform and there are places where you could fall, Moldorm or, Dark World Law or something like that says that if there is a place you can fall, you will.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that was really nice. Dapples in there on Matt's side with the bow. This is you'd love to see it. Yeah, Kaede though, meanwhile, he's just making his way through Turtle Rock. We've seen, kind of Matt do some of these checks earlier. And again, so we know, of course, from our vantage point that he does, with that mirror, needs to do Smith Chain. However, from his vantage point, right, Turtle Rock suddenly opened up with that Kano Samaria. He's got, 10 checks in here available to him. The only things he can't get, is the Turtle Rock big chest, that we already confirmed on his side that he doesn't have the big key, and Trinex, right? You're certainly going to come here probably 10 checks, versus like 2, right? From in this case Smith Chain. It just happens to be the 2 checks on Smith Chain were the ones that we're looking for. Alright, so speaking of though, Matt finally made his way over to his 7th crystal boss, quickly taking down Armo, something he is quite accustomed to at this point. Dante, we've got 7 crystals.
It's time to find the big key to Ganon's tower. It's in a pocket. that's the catch-22. So it's just.
Oh man,
we're just leaving 22 chests behind, saying screw them. We don't need them. Mm-hmm. We're just gonna run straight on up.
Oh yeah. Of course, yeah. One of the nice things, about Key Sanity is that in this case, yeah, we already found the GT big key. It was comfortably nestled in a checkerboard cave earlier. For the forest, this just means that Matt doesn't have to search a thing in the GT basement. He just needs to go straight up. Now, I guess, okay, so Dante, you have what Matt has right now in terms of equipment. You've got half magic, you've got gold sword, you've got red mail. Do you open any of the chests in upper GT looking for silvers?
Statistically, you might find them. I wouldn't bank on it. I think you just go and do your thing. At this point, all of these runners in group stage have played qualifiers. Most of them probably silverless, not guaranteed, but probably. And I think everyone's pretty comfy with it at this point in the top 128. So you know, you don't worry about silvers too much in a situation like this with gold sword.
Yeah, and also not only of course thanks to Broken, and we also have a key counter on Matt's screen. We also just show that we picked up 4 GT small keys along the way. Matt doesn't have to worry about anything. He doesn't have to kill like the mini Helma if he doesn't want to at the very top. He can just literally go through all these doors. Oh, is this, in this case, is this Smith Chain for Kaede? This looks like this is gonna be really great progress.
Yeah, this is actually going to put them very, I think, in go mode. And that is a new and exciting... I didn't know you could mirror there.
Yeah, this is one of the consequences of inverted. And in fact, I believe early on in the inverted days, the original bushes around the library were all still there. So mirror bonking was even easier. I think the devs gave us a little bit of quality of life improvement in this case, and at least remove those bushes.
Yeah, for sure. But Kaede is going to be not too far off from go mode if they continue the Smith chain. All right, so there's the TR big. Let's see if he decides to bail. Does not. Oh, gonna not mirror. Okay, we're mirroring for purple chest.
Like,
so this is good. This is good for Kaede to finish this out.
Jeez, the flute is right before that hammer quick swap. So I'm very glad to see that it was eventually the hammer
at this
not
point,
the flute.
you scared. You're just running up and down trying to make sure you don't have a bird pick you up and take you on an unexpected flight.
Yeah. Alright, so this is gonna be very, very good news, for Kaede, just because he does have, in this case, we know that he's gonna be able to pick up the Turtle Rock big key from the purple chest. But it looks like, though, he is opting to, in this case, take the Light World portal into, I guess, well, the Light World in order to turn it in, as opposed to just, seeing what Matt did was just basically run to the locksmith. Meanwhile, of course, excellent practice, for the gauntlet climb on Matt's side. And again, of course, not even have to kill the mini Helma store, because we've got so many keys, to our name, and a ton of health. Although, maybe, he probably looks like he's going to powder the anti-fairies before kind of going into Agatu.
Alright, so that is go mode for Kaede. And realizing it, so gonna bail out.
Yeah, again, and just little hesitations because you're playing inverted. Once you hit go mode, especially in the light world, you kind of instinctively try and quick swap over to the flute and say, "All right, I'm ready to go." It doesn't quite work that way in inverted because the flute doesn't work in light worlds.
It'd be great if it did. Like if it worked in both.
Actually. I would like a inverted flute as well, and so we can actually work in the light worlds. Alright, though. Meanwhile, Matt is on his Aga 2 fight. Let's see if Aga is actually going to be kind in terms of patterns. A double, not too bad. Hopefully it's going to be something like a 2-2-2. Oh, almost. That blue ball was pretty unfortunate.
Yo, we're switching audio. I'm approving of this Donkey Kong
this is
MSU.
Awesome. Yes. If you have any cat jams in chat, and get them out. Yeah, meanwhile though, Kaede, with his Eastern Palace big key go mode, it looks like he is going to opt to do Eastern Palace first before going up and killing Trinex. Oh man, this music is so good.
Alright, so Matt dropping into Ganon. All he needs to do is finish all 4 phases. I'm not sure if he knows how, but just in case he doesn't, I'll explain it to you guys. We've got Gold Sword, so we just need 6 slashes for phase 1, which he has already done. We're into phase 2, yet again with Gold Sword, just 6 more slashes. He looks like he's done this before, so We'll see how this pans out.
Does he? I mean, I've never really seen them do this on a stream, right? He's not used to having gold sword. It's like,
Well, honestly, some of these folks may not know what gold sword's like if they just started out this year and made top 128 in qualifiers, since that was
that's
limited
true.
to the tempered sword. But anyway, we're in phase 3. We just got to wait for the floor to finish falling across all spots. Which is happening now, and now we just need 12 spins or slashes, and that's gonna be it for Ganon. Matt getting torch glitch.
Yeah, it says silvers were in Light World, Dante. Where in Light World can it be?
I got no clue.
I'm trying to think even where else we have left to look.
We did Spiral Cave. Kaede getting their 6th crystal. People saying flute spot in chat. Maybe there's a shovel somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's
or
actually
King's
a good
Tomb.
point.
Yeah, Mitts could have been in GT. You never know. I feel like we did everything available to us right now. I think we did, and that's it. Ganon blowing up, and sword in the air, jams out. Get your GGs in chat for matt7898. Gonna advance. In this to advance his record to a 4-0 in groups.
Yeah, really impressive record. Basically, he's just completely dominating this group so far. Yeah, get your decent chat for matt7898. Well, how very apt. Matt and Kaede both have red mail. Very appropriate Triforce text there.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get Matt in for an interview while we let Kaede finish. Looks like they are going to play this out.
Yeah, and Kaede doesn't have too much, left to do.
No.
He is basically, just going to climb the mountain, hopefully for his final time. Going to backdoor into, Laser Bridge for Turtle Rock, and then kill Trinex, and then going to do a very similar climb to Matt.
Yeah, having Gold Sword always makes this climb a little nicer. And we are joined in chat by the winner today, Matt7898. GG.
Yo, Matt, GG's?
Hello, GG's.
So my first question to you is, how did you feel when you went up the mountain and found boots in Spec Rock?
Oh, it's glorious. Yeah, like the qualifying stage was unkind with boots, but the group stage, I've been finding boots early, basically every seed, so it was huge.
And then also you had the first sword right in Link's house, so basically, casual boots in I don't know, 10 minutes.
Casual ambrosia boots, dude.
Yeah.
You could have those. You could have had those boots, like those boots, the first time you picked up. You could have flew right up there. Like the game just gave it to you. That's
true. You could have bunny walked. That's something we didn't consider in the booth. We were just so excited to see him. Inverted's always kind of weird. But as your middle and late game kind of seemed overall from you guys. I do have a couple questions for you, Matt.
Yeah.
So you had the Eastern area, you had the Mire play. You decided to go with the Mire play. Was that calculated? Was that just kind of, what was your thought process with going into Mire over like the Eastern area?
I got the Mire map and I found out it was a pendant. So I decided Mire was probably a better play because I potentially would never have to go back there. And I had two Mire smalls already. So like the left side was feeling kind of like something could be there, and it was. So it was definitely the right decision. Although I did end up clearing Eastern anyway before doing Smith Chain, but it did make the route a little smoother.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I also have to ask this, like once you went over there and got your Mire big, was there any calls for concern with that big chest as well as Vitreous being available?
Yeah, so I had some pretty terrible locations left at that point, right? I had the Thieves Big, I had the Smith Chain, and I had the rest of Desert and the rest of Mire. And I think that was it. And there's one chest in Swamp I could have done. But like they were all kind of bad decisions. And then Smith Chain just handed me go mode, and it was very nice.
Yeah, for sure. We were kind of juggling the thought of this too. When you started doing Smith Chain, you were really, I think you were pretty low on checks. Was Thieves Town like kind of on your radar since you were in that area? Given that the small showed up when it did, and that thieves basically had, I think, nothing in the back besides the crystal.
Yeah, so the whole seed logically was actually difficult to piece together because it was a logical egg seed.
Right.
And the damn ether medallion was on Lumberjack. And I was like, I better find a mirror or else this sequence break isn't going to pay off. And so I just kept putting off the mountain more and more and more because I wanted to know if I had to do Aga, number one. And number two, I wanted to get a mirror so I could clear everything out. And that did cause me to get the Harabig, which gave me the mirror. So I was feeling pretty good about that. And I was thinking that it would be tough to both get the Hera big before going to Hera and get the Thieves small before going to Thieves. So I wasn't that worried about it. I was going to hard last location that check. Just because if you don't get that, I think it's a little harder to get the mirror. And so I thought I could be saved by that point. And I thought that both getting the hammer the first trip into pot, because you could open the Harmless Hellway, right, instead of the big key chest, and getting the mirror. Well, I didn't have the mirror. Or yes, I did have the mirror at that point. And getting the mirror, I felt like were both very good for me. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to worry about Thieves Big.
I got you. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, overall, like, inverted sometimes can be kind of a hope for the best once you hit Light World. I mean, you guys had the Moon Pearl, I think, on your screen at like a minute and a half. And then, you already had a sword, so that was kind of comfy. And then, you had some defense items show up, like the blue mail and then red mail shortly after.
Death warping is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of rough. But yeah, the beginning was like super free, right? Like you had Light World East Death Mountain access like 5 minutes in. I thought about not even going to Skull Woods. The only reason I did was like, I kind of want to see if I can find a glove before I walk up the mountain to do Hookshot Cave. But like, yeah, once you get Light World access, inverted key sanity just basically turns into normal key sanity with like a slight more pain and overworld routing. So yeah, it was a little bit free in that sense.
Yeah, we were kind of like one of the storylines that developed. So like, it tried to develop. I tried to develop it. As we see Kaede pull a Skullwoods big. Kaede got to the big key to GT before you did, and then we were kind of wondering, is Matt going to go over to that area? Given that it's a pendant, and I don't think you knew that at the time, so it kind of made sense. But there was the high possibility, I think, in some ways where you could like not go to desert, right?
Yeah, in retrospect, I probably should have done it when I was over there. Like, it's pretty quick to do. It's just when you start with a flute, like at any point you can just get handed mitts and then you can get that access super easily. And I don't like going all the way there with no desert keys, right? Because you can also find a desert key on your path somewhere, which I did eventually end up finding the small before I went in there. I was just like, I don't want to be that conservative. I'm just gonna try and clear the Light World first and make this trip later, hopefully get mitts or something. But I still had to make an awkward trip back there. At least I got 2 more checks out of it.
Yeah, I guess I also had a question as well. So like, if you were to have gone to Saha early and got your Meyer big key, would you have finished Meyer out of curiosity when you were there?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because I think at least on Kaede's side, we saw him so he went to Eastern Palace area a little bit earlier, and he didn't go to Meyer until quite a bit later versus you. And I guess at the time he had everything that he needed, but he didn't. He opted also to not kill Vishrius. So. Okay,
yeah, if it was later on the seed, maybe, because I would have gone there so early. I guess if I had gone to Eastern and Saha first, it would have been slightly different, but. Yeah, and the early Meyer play helps so much, right? Because then it gives you an excuse to sequence break Knight's Palace, get you your bow, which allows you to clear a lot more. Not that any of that stuff really helped me that much, because I just had to go up and get the mirror from Hera that I could have had a million years ago anyway. But it's, I don't know, it felt to me, it made me feel good. That's all that matters, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, the sequence break worked out really nice for you.
Although it did look like though you eventually broke down. You know, you did visit the Eastern Palace. You know, you went into Eastern. You know, over to doing Smith Chains. So I'm not sure how much mental damage that is for you.
Yeah, that sucked. Stupid Eastern. I know. Never go there. Like, it's such a waste of time every time. It's just the Smith chain is so awkward because you gotta cart this stupid purple chest all the way down. You can't leave it behind like you can normally, and I almost just didn't do the purple chest just because I can't stand it in inverted so much, and that would have really screwed me. So I'm glad I did it. But as you saw, I like dropped it 6 times on the way there just because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Was there any thought, I guess, when you saw the ped being Tower of Hera small? Like, was that was that like just kind of like a oh great moment?
Yeah, that was stupid. I mean, like I never check ped. It's just like in inverted, you have to go up like right next to it, and I checked because I didn't even have the swamp small, right? There's really no point checking it when it's not in logic.
Yeah.
But I just did it for the hell of it, and I was like, well, I mean, I don't have the swamp small yet, so I can't get too upset about that. But it was kind of a, you know, kick in the face, but it wasn't required, so it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, all things considered, you actually routed the seed very, very well. Like, you know, I don't know if you necessarily, like, were worried that you ended up getting, like, mirror, you know, somewhat later than maybe intended or expected, but I mean, like, it didn't really hurt you at all.
No, not at all. If I had done Smith Chain instead of going the Eastern Palace area, I think that route would have been really tough to beat for anyone. Like, that's that. I feel like it went quite well for the most part.
Alright, so I guess in terms of group, so this puts you at 4-0. Do you happen to know what the group situation is? I mean, it sounds like you have first place clinched then?
No,
no?
Potentially. Well, it depends. Shiva's only played 2 games, so it's really hard to tell. But me and him are playing a doubleheader tomorrow, and if I have to win one of those 2 to win the group, right? Because I'll have the tiebreaker from qualifier seeding. I'm assuming that's how it works, but I'm not sure. Because then we both would have to 4-0 the other 2 players if we tie. Yeah, that's got to be how it works. So I'll play him twice tomorrow. Hopefully I can beat him once. But you never know. We'll see what happens.
So I also haven't looked at like the cards, I guess, so far. But given that you just played Inverted Keys, chances are you probably won't get it next time. Like Ambrosia might be on deck for you.
Yeah, that's the only one I haven't played yet. So I've gotten 4 different modes. I don't know what's in his deck. There's a lot in his deck. He's only played 2 games, but yeah, whatever happens. I mean, I like inverted. Like I've been a inverted. I feel like I'm one of the few people who really likes inverted. But in a tournament race, when you're like trying to figure this out on the fly, and you don't practice inverted, it's a little challenging.
You didn't really mirror bonk or anything like that, so that's the.
Well, I didn't have the mirror for 90% of the seed, which kind of helped a little bit. Yeah, also, I made it 3, right? So that's all that matters.
As long as you get to the finish line, you know, in inverted, it all works out. But Kaede dropping into Ganon does have Gold Sword, does not have those coveted silver arrows. Maybe one day we'll find them.
Right, they had to be on King Sumer Sahasrara, I think.
Oh yeah, we were thinking Dig Spot as well, since no one found the shovel.
That could have been it too.
Yeah, and of course you already checked pet for us, so that wasn't going to happen. Yeah, actually, yeah. So I mean, like, just also like based on your routing, Kaede also went to Catfish early. You know, that's where he got his Temper Sword, and I was actually kind of curious to see when you would go there, if you would go there at all. You ended up going there actually pretty early, like much earlier than maybe anticipated. So you actually ended up getting like a Temper Sword pretty. So it's not like Kaede actually had that much of an advantage.
Yeah, it's weird because usually you want to try and save Catfish to do with the mirror in the Zora area, but like with this mode with the flute, it's just like just do it whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, because you can flute to 2 as long as you have a glove. It's not that far away. Feels a lot more comfy than, you know, in normal modes.
Yeah, it makes that and the pyramid kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah, Kaede is just wrapping up his Phase 4 Ganon. So, Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. Looking like he just wants to use a green potion as well, or a blue potion. Just you know, he doesn't want to die. Dying on Ganon is not a good idea.
Yeah, so should just be a few spins away.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Ganon and GT, Matt, do we need to revisit Checkpoint Cave?
Why is that?
I mean, you're supposed to go in through the middle, right?
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that. So you didn't go the
Oh,
ideal strat, you
Dude,
know.
I was trying to think. I was like, Ari's gonna make fun of me because I'm gonna do this wrong. And then I got nervous and I did the wrong thing.
All right. Well, you know, it looks like it didn't hurt you this time, just because you did pull out the win. But you know, it might worry for next time.
No, I'll study up.
All right.
All right, so Kaede finishing with an official time of 1 hour 48 minutes and 40 seconds. So get your GGs in chat for Kaede, and we'll see if he wants to come in for an interview.
Yeah, I think I might jump off and let you guys talk to Kaede, but like huge GGs to Kaede. They played super well in both of our games, and thank you so much for the commentary in the restream. It's always nice to be featured on Speed Gaming.
This was quite the race. It was very, very enjoyable. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Looks
All right,
like...
so Kaede is joining us now here in the booth. GGs.
Yo, GG's.
Hello everyone, GG's.
Hello. So we did notice as you were okay. So I guess maybe my first question at the end was you entered GT.
Right?
I'm sorry. Okay, all right.
GT,
Well,
yeah, I knew.
I was curious to see if I don't know if you forgot to look at your inventory for the GT bit key, or maybe you're looking for silvers or something like that.
Both. It
Okay.
was muscle memory, and then I was like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna look for silver. Let's try to not look like a clown in the stream. It didn't work.
Well, unfortunately, like we saw, on Matt's side early, and of course, on your side later, was that the silvers are somewhere in the like world. We think it's like King's Tomb.
Digging game. No.
Could be shovel. We don't know.
The float spot is, I think.
Yeah, there's a few spots that it could be. It could be at the flute spot. It could be at Sahasrara, or I think there was one more.
I was checking
King's
the
Tomb.
credit, and it's Archery Boy, so yeah, it's float spot for sure. Pedestal had a small key, I think. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but yeah, so I mean, overall, I guess. So I guess I'm kind of curious. Like, how much inverted have you kind of played? Either at all, or just kind of for this tournament.
Overall, this is the third or the fourth seed I finished. I think.
Oh wow! Okay. I think.
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was gonna say. I mean, if you've only played kind of like 3 or 4, I think you did very well for the seed. There actually were, I would say, a few, kind of like gotchas, for inverted, and you were still basically, managed to basically piece everything together.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the desert play that was the big difference, and some other stuff like Saha early. That's a meme in the Spanish community in inverted, so that's why I went early.
Oh.
I was curious of Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The last 2 inverted, I played on the multi-world tournament with Madcap. He played the inverted seat. Both seats had the hammer, so that's why I went there. It's like, I mean, just that. And yeah, the desert play, it is really slow always. I was also thinking about the information of it's a crystal or a pendant. That's why I went for that play.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember where the desert map was. At some point, Matt also did like a map check in the light world, and he found out the desert was a pendant. But I think at that point, like you had no knowledge, so I think it was very reasonable for you to basically just clear out desert.
Deep Ice, I think, or
Oh,
I don't know.
okay, yeah. So Matt definitely went there
Maybe
very
Dark or not.
early.
One thing I was curious of, Tower of Hera in inverted mode is very far out of the way, and you had basically the stuff to enter into Misery Mire. So was there were you considering the Mire play over Hera? What kind of swayed you? Like, I guess tell us the thought process you had of making the Mire, like the Tower of Hera play, because that worked out really nice with having the mirror since you were first to that.
Yeah, that's the main point, the mirror. I didn't have the mirror and it's a crystal, so let's go for it. That's what I thought. And I had some checks on the mountain, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, the main reason was to finish Tower of Hera because it wasn't logic. Yeah, it worked.
Gotcha.
Maybe I should have gone earlier when I got the hammer because I went really late to Smith Chain. But whatever, it's random.
I mean, Smith Chain is not appealing in any situation, even if you have the mirror in this case. So, I mean, I don't know if how much you've seen. I guess like on Matt's race, like that was also his, last location. So.
It was kinda hard to go because it was really out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a little bit hard to go earlier. Having all that light wall open that early, it was really hard to go. And
Yeah, it's always very
the
difficult.
Mire play. Sorry, I had that in mind for some time, and yeah, that at the end of the seed, I was thinking, okay, so this was a jet seed, that's it. When I saw that Somaria, I was really upset. I was
If that's
expecting something, but not that.
Oh, I mean, Samaria in Mire is never it's never pleasant to see, especially in cutscene chest, right?
So dumb, so dumb. I don't know.
The seed certainly did not have to be this mean, I think, in terms of inverted, but hopefully at least for your next race, you won't have to roll this again, right? You have one more race versus Shiva next, I think?
Yes, I have one more race left on Sunday against Shiva. I wanted the inverted Kisanity today. Like, it's a good game mode for winning top seeds like Matt, so it didn't work today, but
I mean, I also don't know if you ended up hearing part of the interview with Matt. He also did say that he's probably one of the few people who actually like inverted, so I'm not really sure if necessarily that would have been like the best draw. But still, though, I mean, for the scene, I think you played quite well. So
Yeah, it's definitely
yeah,
all over
knowing
the
that
place.
I don't have that much experience in this game mode because I did not practice that much. It was well.
Mm-hmm.
I had some stuff I missed, like the the old man early that I forgot
Oh,
that
right.
you have to go to the Dark World Cave instead of the vanilla one, and yeah, that's it.
It's one of those things though. Like you play, just with more experience, right? Now you'll remember for next time. So.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. So I think maybe we should, try and maybe like wrap things up a little bit. Any other thoughts, I guess, from you? Certainly, best of luck on Sunday, and
Thank you.
hopefully at least you have some fun.
At least I won a game. I didn't go 0-6, so that's something.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
But
but you
yeah, I will
also,
try.
you also didn't you made it in like post 128, right? I think, or were you
Yeah,
already?
I
Yeah.
entered because some people dropped. So
Mhm. I
Hey, you
mean,
made it in. That's
yeah.
what matters.
Mhm.
You still
yeah,
put
yeah,
up
yeah,
those
for
times and
sure.
qualifiers, so that's definitely something to be proud of. One thing to note for you guys who are still watching, we do have some other races coming up tonight on the Speed Gaming family of networks. We do have Koi versus Dapper Wormman tonight on SG2. That's at 9:10 Eastern. That's going to be in about 2 hours from now. And in about 4 hours from now, we've got Spleeby versus Tiso over on this channel, Speed Gaming. And two really good matchups. There's a lot of matchups you want to see. I would say check the schedule. You can watch a lot of multi-streams if there's no restream. So that's something to keep in mind. Clear Mouse, it was a whole lot of fun doing this race. It was
As
inverted
always.
keys. It was luckily we got boots early. We had a flute to start, so it was quick inverted keys in a way. But yeah, I want to thank Relkin again for doing the button clicking, keeping us honest. This was, there was a lot of fast flying keys. Had to keep up with that, and I didn't keep up with them clearly because I talked about messing up like multiple times. So big thanks to Relkin. I'll turn it over to you to close this out.
Yeah, no, I want to echo everything you said. Thank you again, Kaede, for racing. I mean, letting us restream you. I think it was a really fun race to watch. And hopefully you did have a nice, you enjoyed your inverted experience. Thank you, Matt, if you're still around, somewhere. You guys put up an amazing race. Always really fun to watch you two on restream. Relkin, thank you again. MV Tracker. Not only, of course, clicking all the buttons, he is also one of our tracker mods doing actually a lot of really nice work behind the scenes as well. Thank you, of course, SpeedGaming, Dante. Certainly not not least in this case. Thank you so much. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, until then, yeah, Dante, I think another match, I think, maybe starting at 9-10 p.m. SpeedGaming too. Yeah, but of course, tons of other things, rando on the hour, every hour, whether it's on SG, ALTTPR, Randomizer, or just multi-streams. Until then, see you around.